now. So even though despite these numbers, sometimes it is important that we go with the UK, and an important partnership that's been developed has been with colleagues in Brazil. And so delighted that Tristan's going to talk about this. So thanks very much indeed.
Hi everyone, my name is Tristan Millington. I'm a data analyst at the University of Edinburgh, and I'm just going to talk about our work in assessing vaccine effectiveness in Scotland and Brazil. Can I have the next slide, please? So we wanted to work with Brazil because they differ in quite substantial ways between, there's quite substantial differences between Brazil and Scotland in terms of population size, climate, the disease seasonality and number of infections, and their COVID-19 mitigation policies. However, both countries have very high quality vaccination and infection data available. And this gives us the chance to compare two different populations with different confounding structures and see whether the vaccines are effective in both. Can I have the next slide, please? So we wanted to measure the vaccine effectiveness in two ways. We wanted to measure effectiveness against symptomatic disease and severe disease. And kind of one of the advantages of this partnership is that we didn't actually have the numbers to measure effectiveness against severe disease well in Scotland, whereas the larger population in Brazil did. So we ended up studying effectiveness against symptomatic disease for both Delta and Omicron in both Brazil and Scotland, and just for Omicron against severe disease in Brazil. And we did that with a test negative design. Could I have the next slide, please? In general, we wanted to try and take a similar approach as possible to make the results comparable. This ended up with most of the study design being set by Brazil because they had much larger numbers than us in Scotland. There was a couple of ways in which we had to change. For instance, in our Scotland-specific analysis, we wanted to use some matching, but we couldn't do that due to the misuse of Brazil. We did end up managing to adjust by almost all of the same variables, bar ethnicity, which we didn't have in Scotland, but they did in Brazil. And some of our risk group coding was slightly different. Could I have the next slide, please? So just in terms of our results, we found kind of very good protection for the vaccines against symptomatic disease for Delta. However, that effectiveness was reduced for Omicron, and we also found increased waning for Omicron too. However, in Brazil, for protection against severe disease with Omicron, we found that it was pretty good and actually was maintained for quite a while. Can I have the next slide, please? So just in conclusion, we get good protection against Delta for both countries, and both showed increased waning for Omicron. We mostly managed to align our analyses, and this partnership was really good because it enabled us to get some results for severe outcomes that we did not have the numbers for in Scotland. And just can I have the final slide, please? If you're interested in any more information, we have some publications are listed there that you could look at. And just particular thanks to some of the PHS colleagues who I don't think we could have done this work without. They contributed some really valuable insights to it. Thanks.
Great, thanks very much indeed, Tristan. So, I mean, I think it's a really important first example of how we're trying to work, across jurisdictions beyond the UK, and certainly the Fiocruz partnership with colleagues in Brazil has been absolutely fantastic. But we're keen to develop, further partnerships as well, if at all possible. So thank you for that, Tristan.